Welcome to Half a Point, the podcast that saw Freo absolutely disappoint against Brisbane. One of us got that pick right, one of us got it wrong. But we'll talk about all that was around 23. But this week is our round 24 best picks episode. We'll each be giving our five best picks against the spread. To help me break it down, I am joined by my co-host Carlton Superfan. Cuss, mate, how feeling?
Yeah, feeling good, feeling good. Bit of a long week, but yeah, keep moving.
That's right. If you're new to the channel, please leave a like on this video and subscribe. We're also active on TikTok, on X, and on Instagram. So give us a follow on those. And also a reminder to please gamble responsibly. All right, Cuss. Let's jump into round 23. Again, we see a week where we have these really big spreads, but we had a 70-point favorite cover as well. So it's a new age we're living in where we're in these massive spreads with the gap between the top nine and the bottom nine. But we had some good games in there as well, starting off with Essendon St Kilda, which was a pretty good start to the week. Again, that's three in a row where St Kilda haven't covered as favourites.
Yeah, exactly. Put it perfectly. I think Essendon were just in the competition pretty much the whole game. Bit unlucky towards the end there, but put up a really good contest. And we've said it before, St Kilda as a favourite, you want to fade it. Because yeah, they just don't seem to cover those games, and Essendon end up just losing by 2 points. So really close game.
Yeah, cover was never in doubt. And moving on to Fremantle, Brisbane. I said off the top, you're in Brisbane, you're in Fremantle. I put my hand up. This is a terrible pick by me. Like sometimes I make a pick and I'm like, oh, I don't really care that shit happens. But like this one was just a bad pick. I was just trying to be too smart. I was trying to outsmart the system. All the trends suggested Brisbane, everything suggested Brisbane, but I thought I was smarter than everyone else. I wasn't. It was a terrible pick. Fremantle didn't come to play. Yeah, Brisbane were just clinical with the uncontested mark game and then just cut up Fremantle, who didn't really make the most of opportunities at the start. But even if they did, I don't know. I feel like Brisbane still would have covered, especially catching points. They end up winning by like more than 50 points. So yeah, bad pick by me, great pick by you. A great pick by both of us was the Suns and the Giants end up winning outright.
Yeah, so we're both on the Giants here, and then yeah, ended up winning by 35. So got the upset there as well, and then yeah, the cover was pretty much never in doubt. After half time, they pretty much had full control of the game. So yeah, good to see from Giants' perspective.
Yeah, that's right. And then Carlton, Port Adelaide, your boys dominating performance, mate. Where's this been all year?
Yeah, mate, they saved it for the end of the year, right before finals. Saving it for the final series. But yeah, I don't know. It was a weird performance. I just, you look at the Port Adelaide side and they look completely checked out. Even Ken's like, yeah, just waiting for the season to end. So it's almost just a waste of a season for this Port Adelaide team. But yeah, good cover, I guess, from Carlton.
Yeah, I think that's a bad miss by us. I really regretted not being on Carlton last week. But yeah, I didn't want to lay out the points with them. But yeah, it was a great spot for them. Anyway, moving on to Hawthorn Melbourne. Hawthorn ended up covering. I was on Melbourne. I said with the Freo one, like Freo was a bad pick. With this Melbourne one, I'm not mad at this one. Like I would make this pick again next week. Like it just didn't go my way. Yeah, Melbourne, Hawthorn were just really clinical in the end. So yeah, you make those picks, but I'm not mad at that one. Adelaide, Collingwood, mate, what a game. I'm really disappointed that we didn't win. I don't know, we dominated the inside 50s, but it was just all congested. Like you couldn't really get through. The cover though was never really in doubt. I think I said last
Yeah.
week Adelaide was an awful pick. I felt like it still was. Like we came out to play, obviously. We see time and time again backs against the wall. So the 15.5 points was outrageous and it wasn't really in doubt. I really thought we win outright there as well. So missed out on that. But the storyline coming out of this is the Isaac Rankin situation. Give me your thoughts. What do you think about the whole situation?
Uh, yeah, look, I don't want to say too much in case we upset some people, but yeah,
Nah, speak
what
your
was
mind. Speak your mind, mate.
what's his penalty? Is it
No,
has it
so
been said?
no, so what's happened today is it was meant to be decided today. So we're recording this on Tuesday evening. So yeah, this is as of right now. This is what in the information we have. It was the verdict was meant to be given out today, but I think last night Adelaide sent a letter to the AFL saying or like because of these extenuating circumstances, please like consider these basically to consider a bunch of circumstances. Basically, I think they're trying to suggest that he was like provoked into saying it. I don't know, but yeah, but so there hasn't been a decision yet. The
Mm,
precedent is 5 weeks, I think, for Will Power last
yeah.
year. I think Jack Graham got 4 weeks because he showed remorse and he self-reported. So that's where we stand at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, look, if there is a suspension, which yeah, most likely there will be, I think big loss for Adelaide. He's definitely just one of their key players, such a powerful player as well, and just can create out of nothing. So yeah, it'll be a big loss at a bad time for Adelaide.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough, I guess.
Yeah, it's stupid. But
Yeah,
as it's stupid by Isaac Rankin to do that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't know. I just think this is so interesting for the AFL. AFL notoriously just money grabbers. So
yeah,
and they have to go out of their way to suspend a star player in the league to miss the final series essentially. I just think it's so interesting that I don't know. Will the AFL do it? Like you see, even it getting delayed is a little bit suspect. Like if this happened in round 12, this has been done on Monday. Like they would have
yeah,
given out the 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it was, on the Monday. Now because there's finals at stake, are the AFL gonna break precedent and go back in their word and give Isaac Rankin a softer penalty so that he can play in finals? I don't know. It's just so interesting for me to see if the AFL will do that.
yeah.
I don't think they will. Like they should have enough integrity to go with the precedent, especially given that he didn't self-report, nothing like that. So it should be minimum 5 weeks. And they've said if this keeps happening, we're going to increase it every time. So I don't know. I just think it's
Mm,
so interesting to see what will the AFL do. I don't know. We'll
yeah.
see. I don't know. We'll see next week.
There's a lot riding on it. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Like, are they gonna are they gonna soften it just because it's Isaac Rankin and it's the finals? But yeah, interesting test case. Yeah, moving on to North Melbourne, Richmond. I think you were on Richmond, but they just didn't come to play.
yeah. It was really disappointing outing from Richmond. I saw the first half and I was like, okay, yeah, going to be a good competition, and then yeah, the floor was swept with North Melbourne. They just kicked goals non-stop. Ended up winning by about 50 odd. So yeah, well done from North Melbourne point of view. But yeah, a bit disappointing pick there. I don't regret it. I don't think it was necessarily the wrong pick, but yeah.
Yeah, like long-term winner. Like we've been riding this bad team get on the dog all year. It hasn't worked out twice, and it's both been North Melbourne. Like that's fine.
Mm,
Sydney Geelong again. I was on Sydney. Didn't go my way. Again, not mad at the pick. I didn't. If you listened last week, I wasn't really confident in it. Yeah, turned out Geelong was just too clinical in the end. But again, I'm never going to really apologize for picking a home dog. And then Western Bulldogs, West Coast Bulldogs cover as 70-point favorites.
yeah, unbelievable. We had our doubts. We said the line was too big, but they just find a way to bully these bad teams. They have a percentage of I think 140 at
It's
the
insane.
moment, and they're like pretty much borderline out of the top eight. Or they're still in it. But yeah, crazy. Things you don't usually see, but this year
Yeah.
we've seen some crazy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Even considering jumping on a 70-point favorite, which ended up being the right side, is
Yeah.
insane. If you looked at last year, I think the biggest line was like 50 something, and it was like
Mm.
really rare, right? So this year we've just been seeing it. So yeah, bit of a weird year. Pretty good that we've gotten through it. So I go 2-3. So my first losing week in 6 weeks. I had more losses this week than the previous 5 weeks combined, which is an insane stat. So I had 2-3, 68 and 47. So still 59% against the spread. Had a bad week. Obviously, it's going to catch up to me at one stage. I told you, it's not going to go on and on. You had a great week. You went 3-2.
Yeah, started well. Started the week as 3-0, and then you get a bit of confidence, and then you find out that the next game is Collingwood Adelaide, and you're like, oh no, didn't cover my fifth pick. But yeah, happy to go positive. I guess it's still always good to go positive.
That's right. So you're just under 500 as well. As we say every week, pros go 56% against the spread. So that's where we want to be. I'm at 59. You're just under 50. So right around there. But yeah, we just want to go 3-2 every week. If we go 3-2 every week, we're happy. Dogs went 4-5 this week. They had a 3-0 Sunday. So sorry, favorites had a 3-0 on Sunday. So dogs started really strongly. 2-6 straight up. Again, only a couple of upsets. So we see even like the Collingwood game, like they cover, but they're not haven't been winning outright. It's been a weird season. Usually we tend to see more upsets per week. Um, but yeah, that's all behind us. Let's jump into round 24. Famously, one of my probably my least favorite round. Just because of all the you don't know who's coming out to play. You don't really know what's happening. There's all these different combinations and machinations. Like, I mean, you could if you really drill into it, you can see it as an opportunity to jump on these numbers where people haven't done the research. I just hate it. It's just so many things to think about. But yeah, let's jump into it. Just a disclaimer before we start. As I said, we are recording this on Tuesday evening, and so the lines are as of Tuesday evening, and also the Gold Coast Essendon game. We'll talk about it at the end, but it's not going to be part of our competition, so we can't be on either side. So we will talk about it. We'll give our pick, but again, it's not going to be part of our competition. All right, let's jump into round 24 here. Final home and away game of the season, home and away round of the season, where we'll see some of these teams for the very last time until next year. Starting off with Essendon Carlton, last game of the year for your boys. Thursday night game at the MCG. Last time they played, Carlton were 14.5 point favorites, got up to that great start, but then Essendon clawed all the way back. You guys ended up winning, but not covering, ended up winning by 8. This time around, Essendon are 25.5 point dogs. Stay away from me. I really, really, really wanted to be on Carlton here. I think, yeah, maybe you guys have found some form at the end of the year here. That was a really impressive performance versus Port Adelaide. And I feel like Essendon have come off a couple of really good performances against Geelong. Not a great performance, but they were competitive. And against St Kilda, they probably had a good chance to win that game. I feel like this is a bit of a letdown spot, whereas Carlton are sort of trending the other way. The only thing is Carlton off a 5 day break, and this at this stage of the season, I'm not really gonna lay 25 points off a team with a team who's off a 5 day break. So that's literally the only reason why I'm staying away from it. If this was played on Friday, I probably would have been with Carlton if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, stay away from me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think said it perfectly. Sort of the 5 day break. It's a sort of it's very short at this time of the season. So, when you've got a bunch of young blokes at Essendon, it could easily catch them off guard. And yeah, I just think there's a little bit of fight in both teams, but I feel like the young blokes at Essendon are just sort of, just getting a bit of experience in, getting a bit of a kick, and yeah, doing pretty well. So for that reason, I've actually gone with Essendon at plus 25.5. It was one game that I was tossing up, but I feel like you've got two teams that aren't necessarily too good this season. And yeah, going with the dog here isn't too bad of a pick. But yeah, give me Essendon here.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Moving on to Collingwood versus Melbourne. Friday night game at the MCG. Last time they played Collingwood were 23.5 point favorites and they ended up winning by 1. I think we're both in Melbourne that game, so that was a good pick. This time around, Collingwood are 22.5 point favorites. Where are you going with this one?
The tough one, this one. Really hard to read. I wanted to go on Collingwood so bad here. But then I also look at Melbourne and they just do have a way of, upsetting a team. Maybe not getting the win, but maybe getting the cover in this case. So a bit of a stay away for me, but if I had to lean a certain way, probably Collingwood minus 22.5. I feel like they're just in a bit of a slump. And last week we saw a lot of fight. They were a bit unlucky to not get over the line. So yeah, I think Collingwood might be the correct pick here.
Give me Collingwood minus 22.5 here. I really hate this pick. I feel like I'm falling into a trap here. It's like, what is this number? 22 and a half.
Yeah.
But again, I just feel like I'm getting a pretty good number here. I feel like I make this 25.5, so getting half a goal of value. It was at like 18 and 19 earlier in the week. So, I feel like, yeah, that's just getting a goal of value. It's moving in the Collingwood direction, but yeah, just I feel like it's a good number against this Melbourne side who I don't know, can they come out to play and upset us? I don't hate it, but again, this Collingwood side, they went up to Adelaide, to the best side in the competition, and outplayed them significantly. What's this number? If Collingwood end up kicking another goal last week, what's this number? 25, 26, 27, 28, you know?
Mm.
So, yeah, I feel like I'm getting a good number. We need the percentage as well. I'm not going to read too much into it. Like, I guess you can say every week every team needs to win. So why don't they just win every week, right? So that logic doesn't really stack up. But I guess it could, if it's not competitive in the first half it could be a stage where Collingwood just piles on here. Again, I think our system, our game from last week, it's in good order. So yeah, um, it feels like a trap. Like I don't know why this number is so low, but I just feel because it's so low, it's a good number now. So yeah, give me Collingwood minus 22.5 there. Moving on to Port Adelaide versus Gold Coast, a Friday night game at the Adelaide Oval. Last time they played Gold Coast were 3.5 point favorites, ended up winning by 14. This time around, Port Adelaide are 23.5 point dogs. Give me Port Adelaide plus 23.5 here. Like, I don't know, home dog, got to go with it. I know the home dogs haven't been great this year, but I feel like now at the end of the season, they're going to start to catch up. This Gold Coast side, like on the cusp of their first finals, like they haven't done it. Like these are the sorts of types of games that they could absolutely drop. Ken's last game, Boak's last game, like it's going to be. I'm hoping that the atmosphere is there. I'm hoping that everyone shows out. I'm hoping that the team shows out. Can they pull off the upset? I'm hoping that they can. Like that'd be crazy. I'm gonna throw a little bit on the Port Adelaide money line here as well. I feel like it's definitely on the cards. It's a home dog, and because they haven't been that great this year, I'm not super confident about it. But I have to take the 4 goals here, especially against this Gold Coast side who still haven't really proven anything yet, if you really think about it. So yeah, give me Port Adelaide and the points. What do you think?
Yeah, I was tossing up, going with Port Adelaide here, but I just sort of couldn't find the confidence with it. I think, yeah, like I said before, they just seem very checked out, and they might show up for Ken's last game, and what I think is Travis Boak. Travis Boak's last game was last week, eh?
Oh, is he
Was
not
it?
playing?
I don't know. I have no
Okay, I'll
idea,
look it
but
up.
it
I'll look
might
it up.
might be
Yeah.
his last game actually this week.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I think there's a big possibility that Port Adelaide do show up, but it's also just that risk factor with how checked out they are. When your coach says that you're just waiting for the end of the season to come, it's sort of like it's just go out there and do your best. There's not really any game plan behind it, but yeah, so it's a bit of a stay away for me.
Yeah, I think he's playing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, hopefully that they get around both of those boys.
Mm.
But yeah, fair enough to stay away from it. Gold Coast as road dogs, sorry, as road favorites haven't been that bad this year. So yeah, fair enough. Moving on to North Melbourne versus Adelaide Saturday afternoon game at Marvel. Last time they played Adelaide were 38.5 point favorites, end up winning by 36. So North ended up covering technically that game. This time around, North Melbourne up 36.5 point dogs. We're going with this one.
The North Melbourne pick is pretty tempting. 36 and a half, over 6 goals. And yeah, everything's saying sort of to like, Adelaide's just going to come in and get the win. Rest their players, towards the second half of the game. But yeah, I don't know. North Melbourne played such a good game last week. It sort of expect a bit of regression, but yeah, it's stay away for me. But if I had to lean to a certain team, probably North Melbourne here at plus 36 and a half.
Give me North Melbourne plus 36.5 here. Like, yeah, I like this one more. Um, we see with this Adelaide side, like big emotional win at home last week versus Collingwood. Like, that's the one they really needed. They've pretty much locked up a top two spot. Now, like coming back home, it just feels like a classic sort of letdown spot here before finals. I feel like they're looking ahead to finals now. Can North Melbourne sort of stun them and get off to a really quick start here? I think that's definitely on the board. Like we saw West Coast do it a couple of weeks ago. Um, yeah, I feel like I don't know. Matthew Nick sort of said the lids kind of off in South Australia, and he said, "Nah, not within the 4 walls." But you can sort of tell like the players they're probably getting up and about now as well about finals. Yeah, they had their big sort of emotional win. It was in tough conditions as well. So North Melbourne looked really impressive last week as well, right? So Ken LDU, who had 40 and a goal, and she's had 54 last week. Like, can they carry on their form? North Melbourne at Marvel as dogs this year have been awful. But the last time they were dogs at Marvel was against St Kilda, and they did show up there. So I'm hoping that the market's sort of starting to catch up there, and this is sort of one of the games where they can actually cover as dogs. It's one of those classic spots, as we've said all year, where these are the types of spots where every year this would be just a no-brainer pick, but this specific
Mm.
year, it's just been really hard to get on these big home dogs. But I gotta trust it. So give me North Melbourne and the
Yeah.
points here. Moving on to Richmond versus Geelong. Saturday twilight game at the MCG. Last time we played Geelong was 60.5 point favorites at GMHB, ended up winning by 72. This time again, Geelong are 60.5 point favorites. Richmond are 60.5 point dogs. Stay away from me. I was on Richmond last time at 60.5 point dogs, and it didn't go well for me. So I'm just scarred. I just can't do it. And we see with these good teams versus bad teams in round 24, like it can get really ugly. I'm thinking like Geelong West Coast last year and North Melbourne versus Hawthorn. Like those two really big blowouts. It feels like this one could be one of those. If this was at GMHBA, then I'd sort of lean Geelong. Because it's at the MCG, I just don't want to be on it at all. Like you could say Richmond at the MCG is good, but I don't know, have they checked out for the year? So yeah, stay away from me. What do you think?
Give me Richmond plus 60.5. Yeah, I think it's just a massive line. Round 24 as well. Like, there is that risk factor of just getting completely blown out, but I also feel like the the age of Geelong's list, they might want to rest a couple players. This week they might even, halfway through the game just sub out one of their older players. So yeah, you never know what their game plan could be coming in. They might just want to get the win, and leave. Still a 30 point, 40 point win is going to be massive for them. So yeah, I can sort of see Richmond covering here. They if they can get a few consecutive goals in a row anywhere in that game, that makes that line really hard to cover for Geelong. So yeah, definitely like the Richmond pick here.
Yeah, that's very fair. Moving on to West Coast versus Sydney Saturday night game at Optus. Last time they played, Sydney were 54.5 point favorites, and ended up winning by 26. I think that was in Gather Round last year. This time around, West Coast are 29.5 point dogs. Where are you going with this one?
This one's a stay away for me. Usually you want to lean towards like the home dog, but I just think West Coast as a home dog just haven't performed really well. They haven't really covered many times. So like you might want to lean Sydney, but then you're leaning towards an away favorite. It sort of just goes against your morals. So stay away for me. But yeah, I think if I had to lean towards a team, it would probably be with Sydney here at minus 29.5.
Yeah, exactly the same. Exactly the same for me. Stay away as well. And exact same reasoning, if I'm being honest. Yeah, West Coast
Yeah.
as home dogs, awful this year. Sydney, I don't know, were not great last week. Just have no interest in this game at all, so
Mhm.
I'm just going to stay away from it. But yeah, same for me. Don't really want to touch it.
Yep.
Moving on to the Giants versus St Kilda. Here we go. The Sunday games, a bit more interesting. The Sunday games. Last time they played, the Giants were 14.5 point favorites. I think that was in Gather Round as well. Ended up winning by 28. This time around, the Giants are 31.5 point favorites. Stay away from me all week. All week, St Kilda were in my five, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like they've had three really close wins. Obviously, had Naz resign as well during the week. I feel like it could be a letdown spot for this Saints side. And also, I've been saying that the Giants are a contender. I've been saying that all year. So if I believe in the Giants in that capacity, then this is a game where they're sort of just put on here. I don't think the percentage will really. I think if they win, they're in. I think they're in already, and no matter what
Mm.
happens. But yeah, I think the Giants can roll here. I want to be in St Kilda because I feel like if this is not round 24, I'd be on St Kilda here. But yeah, just because it's round 24, and if they sort of let it slip at the start, they're probably thinking, footy trip stuff. So yeah, stay away from me. What do you think?
Yeah, a bit of a risky one, but give me St. Kilda plus 31.5. I just think, yeah, I definitely think GWS will win this game. Absolutely no doubt. But I reckon if it was around the 25 mark, I probably would have stayed stayed away from it.
Mm.
Just because bit risky, but I think just that extra goal in hand just puts a bit more confidence in the St Kilda pick. And yeah, I guess you could run with the narrative of them being underdogs, but it is also, season over against a top 8 team. What game plan are you really going to come with? But yeah, just gonna go with St Kilda here at plus 31.5.
Yeah, that's right. I started with St Kilda here. Then I'm like, should I go with the Giants here? So, but then I was like, no, I'm thinking too hard. Just gonna stay away
Yeah.
from it. Moving on to Western Bulldogs versus Fremantle. Sunday afternoon game at Marvel. winner gets into the finals. Last time they played, Fremantle were 8.5 point favorites at home, end up winning and covering by 16. This time around, Western Bulldogs are 22.5 point favorites. What do you think about this game, mate?
Give me Fremantle plus 22 and a half. I'm not calling the upset. I don't have that much confidence in calling an upset, but I think it'll be a really close contest. I think Western Bulldogs, their line has been pushed up a lot just because they do demolish teams that are below them. When it comes to teams that are above them, they tend to not play that great footy. So yeah, I don't have I have a lot of confidence in this pick, but yeah, I hope Bulldogs win though over Fremantle. But yeah, I think Freo will get the cover here.
I got to be honest, man. I do not like that pick. I absolutely love it. Give me Fremantle plus 22 and a half here.
I was like,
Give
oh,
me.
here we go, another clash.
No, no, no. I love it, mate. Like, this is probably my favorite pick on the board. 22.5 points is a huge number, and I get it. Like, if you match the two teams up, you're probably going to get 22 and a half, but um, this Fremantle side just disappointing effort last week at home. But now you're getting them as road dogs. I mean, they covered and won against Collingwood, against the Giants, against the Suns, all as road dogs. Yep, they didn't cover against Rad one against Geelong, and also against Sydney. They didn't cover, but that was by like 1.5 points. I feel like, I don't know, you can say this Western Bulldogs side, when they're laying this sort of mid-tier number, I've sort of said it all year. Yep, against the Giants they covered, but that was a really bad spot for the Giants. They just didn't come to play. You know Fremantle are going to come to play here. Like, obviously, like, they're playing for their finals. Um, and you feel like after last week's performance, like, they got blown out. So everyone's sort of sold on this Fremantle side. I feel like it's just a great spot to back them as dogs, getting a really big number. Do they win outright? I'm absolutely going to play some money line here. There's absolutely a world where, their front, their sort of forwards can get a hold of the dogs' backs there. It's going to be a high scoring affair, you feel, but also it could be tight, like, because they're both playing for finals, right? So could be on the sneaky underwatch, but yeah, 22.5 points against this Western Bulldogs side. Absolutely love it, mate. Moving on to Brisbane versus Hawthorn, a Sunday night game at the Gabba. Last time they played, Hawthorn were 10.5 point favourites, ended up losing. Brisbane won by 33. This time around, Brisbane are 8.5 point favourites. Give me Hawthorn plus 8.5 here. I mean, I don't know. We'll say it again. Brisbane at the Gabba as favourites. You guys, if you've been listening, you should just know this should be automatic by now. But also, it's more than just that. I think this Hawthorn side, this will probably be a top battle for top four. I think whoever wins this gets top four. So there is incentive there for Hawthorn and the Lions to come out and play here. And I think, again, I think this Hawthorn side is a good sort of matchup for this Lions side. The Lions, they're losing players, man. Even Hipwood now, Berry's going to be banged up a little bit. Like, I don't know. I said last week, and they were able to cover last week. They played really well, but their bottom half is just a little bit lacking here of their list. The top half's really good and really solid and really experienced. So, yeah, I'm not concerned about if their finals chances and winning the premiership, but I feel like this is a really good spot for this Hawthorn side. It's only 8.5. It's a bit of a fishy number. So yeah, give me Hawthorn on the points. And again, I'm going to play some money line. What do you think?
Give me Hawthorn plus 8.5. Yeah, you said it perfectly. I think it's just a given every time Brisbane are playing at the Gabba as a favourite. You just sort of want to fade it. It might be wrong here or there, but it's just
Yeah.
what's been given to us this year.
Long-term winner. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So we just run with it. I definitely see Hawthorn playing some good footy as yeah, just that extra incentive for that top four. Who's in better form in the last five or so weeks. I definitely think Hawthorn has um the better chance of getting into the top four here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it would be better for Collingwood if Hawthorn win as well. So
Yeah, it would
go
be.
Hawks. Moving on to Gold Coast versus Essendon. Again, it's not going to be part of our contest, but we'll talk about it anyway. Gold Coast, I think the last time they played, I think Gold Coast were 21.5 point favorites at Marvel and then ended up winning by 40, I think. This time around, Gold Coast are 51.5 point favorites. What do you think about this game, man?
Um, Look, I think Essendon. might have to just be the right pick here. No doubt in my mind that Gold Coast will cover pretty easily. Against, pretty banged up Essendon, but yeah, just a massive line here, like 51 and a half. Um, you know, I don't think Gold Coast usually get lines that big, and if they do, I don't even know if they cover it. So yeah, probably go with Essendon here. About you?
Yeah, I'd probably lean Gold Coast if I'm being honest. Like I feel like Essendon will be done by then. But again,
Mm.
Gold Coast will be off a 5 day break, so I don't know if you want to do that much. But then they need percentage, so
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Again, this line will change depending on the results. So I'm not going to read into it too much right now. All
Mm.
right, that wraps up our round 24 picks. Run us through your five, Cos.
So you got Essendon plus 25 and a half, Richmond plus 60 and a half, St Kilda plus 31 and a half, Fremantle plus 22 and a half, and then Hawthorn plus 8 and a half. So five dogs this week.
Five dogs, that's crazy. I've gone with Collingwood minus 22 and a half. That's my favorite. Port Adelaide plus 23 and a half. North Melbourne plus 36 and a half. Fremantle plus 22 and a half, and Hawthorn plus 8.5. All right, thank you everyone for joining this week. We will be back next week. There'll be no picks next week, but it will be sort of a little bit of a we'll look at our preseason picks and sort of talk about how we went, our ladders and stuff. So we could talk about our best picks and our worst picks of the year. So a bit of fun next week if you want to join us there. But yeah, thank you all for watching today's video. As a reminder, please leave a like on it and subscribe. And until next time, see you later.